Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
All right, happy Wednesday, everybody. Another great edition of Primetime Local News. Connor Chan here, filling in for Michaela Henschel once again. Got a lot of great local content on the show tonight. We preview Battle of the Badges, which is always a great event here between the firefighters and the police, as well as Red Bicycle renews their contract with the city, as well as the property assessment. We'll have all that and more, especially that Battle of the Badges is one of the biggest events here in the city.
Yeah, it's really cool. Super cool. I haven't gotten to see one yet, so I'm very excited. The actual hockey game is on March 9th, and they just did a lot of little kickoff fun stuff today, so it was really cool.
They did. Grant Kurzinger, Constable Grant Kurzinger really likes to get under the firefighter's skin
Yeah.
before the actual game itself.
It's true.
But we'll have all this and more coming up later on in the show today. But right now, let's head over to Brett Holden, who's out on location.
Well, today we are here at Wildside Outdoors, where we will be testing out just a little bit of shooting. I'll be trying out my Katniss side here, Robin Hood side. Obviously, this is my doing here. It's not actually, but we'll see a little bit coming up in the next hour, just how well I actually do shoot. It probably won't be very well. So that'll be coming up, as well as just learning the first ins and outs of archery. So that'll be coming up this hour. Let's head back into the studio where Elise has a look at your local news.
Lloydminster homeowners can expect to see a notice in their mailbox. The annual property assessments are being sent out. Mayor Albert says the property value is dependent on a few different factors.
The annual property assessment notices will be coming out very shortly to people's mailboxes. This is something that has been going on for many, many years. It's nothing new from that perspective. I encourage people to take a look at their assessment. That's really the important part of it. It's a statement of your the property value as of last July 31st.
The annual property assessment helps council shape next year's budget.
The taxation for the city is derived from the assessment. So there's a series of steps. First, the assessment notice goes out. The assessment is determined for the property. Then the city looks at a budget. That budget is then comes back and determined how much money do we need to raise as the city to pay for the budget.
If you have any questions, go to lloydtaxes.ca for more details. And a local marketing company has signed a 3-year deal with the city, and Abby St. John takes a look into what the partnership means for both the city and the local business.
Red Bicycle Communications has been working on different ways to promote the border city, including moving online.
We just launched our website in last summer, actually, so it's discoverlloydminster.ca. We've got social media up on the go. We've got Facebook and Instagram right now. Both are /discoverlloydminster. And we're trying to get our hashtag trending, which is #DiscoverLloydMinster. And so we're really working on our social media and updating our website.
Red Bicycle will be releasing their annual guide in partnership with the city. The guide will contain information on where to eat, what there is to do, and how to get involved in the community.
If you're a traveler, you can get the sense of where to go, what local restaurants are really popular, and why you would want to maybe do a little bit more than just drive through our border city and take a picture on the border markers. Like, stay a while. There's lots to see and do.
Mayor Albers weighed in on the partnership, saying both parties will benefit.
Enhance our presence in the magazine and develop some work with them on the website, connecting our website to theirs, so that when people are visiting, they'll find out information about the city. So it was a win-win we saw for the city all the way around.
When the 2019 guide is released in April, it will be located online through their website and within various stores around the city. Abby St. John, Primetime Local News.
And now we're going to go to Brett Holden, who is on location today.
I'm joined now by Damon here at Wildside, and let's start off, Damon, just about some of the things you guys offer here at Wildside.
For sure. So here at Wildside Outdoors, we're an outdoor hunting and fishing store. We carry all things from hunting, archery, fishing, trapping. Yeah, and we got a very, very good variety in all those good things for sure.
And let's talk now. You mentioned archery, and that's obviously what we're here for today. Sure. Let's talk about some things when it comes to archery. Just the most important things when you were first coming in for whether it be rentals, lessons, or just coming in to just to shoot.
Awesome. Well, the main thing with archery is just to have fun. So you come in here with a good attitude, ready to try something new. We'll get you set up with a bow, arrows, all that good stuff if you don't have it already. Yeah, and we always have coaching on on staff as well, so we'll get you figured out as far as that goes, show you the proper way to shoot, and get you rolling for sure.
And we're obviously here in the shooting range. Let's talk about when somebody does come in for archery. What's kind of the first few things that they're going through when they come into here in the shooting range?
Awesome. So first thing, as far as anybody coming in, we'll always get them set up with a bow that fits them. They have their choice between either a compound or a recurve style bow, and then we'll just run them through the basics. So always with the bow, you never want to dry fire it just because that harms the bow. And then just simple things like when you're putting on your arrow, there's always going to be one cock feather. You're always going to face that away from the bow, just so it doesn't hit your riser as you're shooting. Just simple stuff like that to get people rolling.
Perfect. We'll have a little bit more coming up from here at Wildside, and we'll get a little more in depth on just the basics of archery. But first, let's head back into the studio where Michaela has a look at your weather.
Well, I'm not quite Michaela Henschel because I don't have the red hair and I don't have the dress and a few other things. But thanks very much, Brett. Taking a look at the temperature right now, -10 for us here. Mostly some cloudy skies for us here in the border cities. Take a look at some of the wind chills. It adds about 6 degrees to our total at 8 degrees. We were back in 1984, excuse me, and -37 back in 1986. So it's still getting colder. It's going to get colder throughout later on into the week, which we'll show you later on in our 7-day forecast. As we take a look at our satellite radar map, we did get some cloud. We are going to get some cloud coverage throughout the next couple days there. Edmonton did get some snow, and we are probably going to get some snow ourselves on Saturday. There's a 50% chance we'll get some flurries on that day, so just be mindful of that as well. Let's take a look at some current temperature. No watches or warnings, excuse me, throughout the region. So the extreme cold warning that we had for about 2 weeks is no longer there, which is, of course, a great thing to see for us here in the border city. Take a look at some current temperatures throughout the rest of the region. -10 out in Red Deer and Rocky Mountain House. -11 in Edson and Edmonton. -12 out in Meadow Lake and Prince Albert and North Battleford. Let's take a look at some temperatures around the region. -20 overnight in North Battleford. It'll be about -28 into the morning tomorrow, and then it will get a little bit warmer at -15 degrees. Cold Lake -20 overnight as well with cloudy skies. They're going to get, but it's going to feel more like -28 in the morning, and then the daytime high tomorrow in the afternoon, -12 there. For us here in the border city, -19 with some cloud coverage overnight. It's going to feel like -28 into the morning, and then into the afternoon, -14 for the daytime high tomorrow. Let's take a look at the next 3 days. -11 the daytime high on Friday with mostly cloudy skies, low of -21. And then, of course, as I mentioned earlier, Saturday, 50% chance of some precipitation there with some flurries at high of -13, but a low of -15, so a little bit warmer, but some snow could still be on the horizon there. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Welcome back. Well, members of the Lloydminster Fire Department and RCMP took to the ice today for the Battle of the Badges kickoff ahead of the event on March 9th. The kickoff included a few competitions like wrong-handed shooting accuracy and a ceremonial puck drop using a donut, allowing both sides to showcase some of their skills before the game.
This is our 5th annual Todd Gustafson Memorial Battle of the Badges. We want everybody to come out, have fun, come cheer on both the RCMP and the fire. I know that the fire guys have been working hard this year. There might even be some new recruits showing up, so come on down.
All proceeds from the event will go to the Salvation Army and Mother Teresa, making sure the money raised stays in the community.
The monies that get raised from this game actually go to specific projects for the Salvation Army as well as for the RCMP's charity of choice, which is Mother Teresa development and their outdoor classroom. So the real focus for this event is to make sure that all the funds raised stay local.
Puck drop is at 2:30 at the Centennial Civic Center, with the RCMP looking to make it 5 straight victories over the fire department. And now we're going to take a look at your stock market prices for today.
We restore more than just property. We restore hope. When disaster strikes, call the one that can make it right. First General Services, your property restoration experts.
Welcome back. Well, when it comes to insurance, what's covered on the farm varies depending on the farmer. Gerard Lampo finds out why it's important to have that conversation.
When you want to pick and choose which animals specifically need the coverage, you can.
Cooperators was primarily founded by farmers in the 1940s, so we come from farm. Back in 2012, we revamped our whole farm program to be more in line with the needs of farmers today.
Originally from North Battleford, Vanessa DeRoger comes from a cattle background. She was speaking at the Rural Women Ag Conference in Vermilion about insurance coverage.
On top of our general farm program, we have an excellent livestock coverage program and a farm accident program, including things such as life insurance, financial planning, succession planning, etc.
As more women become farm owners, succession planning has an added dimension.
Right now, the growing trend is that more women are taking over the family farm. So I guess today that's what our primary focus is on, is a lot of these ladies that are now going into it for themselves that has normally been a primarily male-dominated industry.
That changing dynamic presents new opportunities for insurers.
The thing that makes us exceptionally different in that sense is that we offer a very broad range of coverages, and we're able to customize farm policies. So right now, having that personal touch on the family farm is very important to women today, and because we're able to customize those programs to what their needs are, it's helpful in the long run.
DeRoger encourages producers to take the time to learn about insurance.
Have conversations with your insurance advisor and make sure that you are aware of what you are covered for and what you are not covered for.
We had a couple of those bad storms this summer, and we had 5 animals go down because of lightning.
Gerard Lampo, Primetime Local News.
And that's your egg news. Sports is next, but first we'll take a look at your egg prices.
Every member of the City Centre Auto Body team has been through extensive training. We're constantly upgrading our team's education to reflect current collision repair technique.
Taking a look at your local sports now, just a few days ahead of the ACAC Conference Championship, the Lakeland Rustlers women's volleyball team enjoyed a first for an already decorated program on Saturday. 3 fifth-year players were honored in their final home match, a trio that has brought Lakeland athletics to new heights.
Becker out of the back row, and that'll score. Lakeland.
After the whistle blew one last time, signaling a straight sets victory in the Lakeland Gymnasium, Shelby Becker, Annika Koos, and Ray Sigurdsson were honored in front of friends and family. It was a night filled with many different emotions, reflecting on 5 informative years.
The way I coped with it was not thinking about it. And so now it just kind of feels like a dream, like this whole week kind of has doing things for the last time, and it's a good feeling, but it's also it's bittersweet,
I was super sad this morning, but now I've kind of dealt with it, and now I'm just okay.
Mostly happy. It was a great game, and I really enjoyed it, and playing with the girls for one last time at home, it's just amazing. It's my favorite place to play, so.
The 3 stars performed to expectations, never leaving any room for viewers to think the match was in doubt.
We definitely didn't want to go out on a loss, so yeah, it was good to win, yeah.
Before the ceremony began, the players surprised their head coach with a video tribute.
Dear Austin.
Because he's done everything for us, so we thought we could do something little for him. That was nice and sentimental.
And look at us now.
We've reached the pinnacle of Canadian college volleyball. He's the reason we're all here, and so yeah, finishing off like this, it's been, the best.
Well, that wasn't expected.
Senior night is supposed to be about the players, not about their coach.
pretty thoughtful of the girls, and again, it shows the character, I think, of those three girls, and all the stuff that we've been through since they came here.
Having built such a strong bond helped the trio prepare for this moment.
Doing this whole experience with Ani and Shelby has been super easy because we've been going through the same things together and kind of coping with it together.
However, they still have unfinished business in Calgary this weekend.
But hang on, don't get all soft on us now. We've still got work to do.
Josh Ryan, Primetime Local Sports.
The wrestlers are currently attending the awards banquet for the 2019 ACAC season, and they'll take on the Ambrose Lions, the championship host, tomorrow at 6 p.m. on ACAC TV. The Lloydminster Bandits weren't able to come up with an OT magic this time against the Killam Wheat Kings. The visitors ended Game 4 last night in the final minute of extra play, winning 4-3 and taking a 3-1 lead in the first round series. Game 5 takes place Saturday night in Killam. And if the Bandits win, they're back at the Civic for Game 6 on Sunday at 7:30 for puck drop. And now we're going to send it back to Brett Holden on location today.
We are back here at Wildside, and obviously I'm holding a bow, Damon's holding a bow, but these are two totally different bows. Let's talk about the one that I have and the one that you're holding here.
For sure. So your style there is called a recurve bow. That's a little bit more traditional style. Usually recurve bows, they're really good if you're just kind of having a good time getting started with shooting. If you're going more into that hunting route, usually people go with a compound for sure. The difference between the two, compounds have what's called a let-off. So these things here are known as cams, and when you're at full draw with your bow, it actually lets off the poundage a little bit. So like, let's say you're pulling 60 pounds, when you're at full draw, you may only be pulling 5 pounds. So it makes it a whole lot easier to aim and hold on target. Therefore, compounds are much easier for hunting and more accurate.
So now let's talk, Damon, a little more about safety when you're first starting out here. What's the first things that you want to be keeping in mind here?
For sure. So as soon as anybody comes in the range, the first thing we want to make sure is that everybody's behind the line when we're shooting. Usually we'll have a person running the line, running such commands as clear to shoot, clear to retrieve, and archers to the line. So as those commands are being called, you just want to make sure that you're either behind the line or going out to get your arrows at the proper time. The last thing we want is anybody going out past the range while people are shooting.
You mentioned now, we'll move on just to the arrows. You mentioned how this arrow is, or this is a different color, right?
For sure.
What's kind of the purpose of this and more the function as well?
Awesome. So on every arrow, you're going to have one fletching that's a different color. This one here is black, and this is known as the cock feather. So on compound bows, you always have your cock feather facing upwards, and that's just so that you get good clearance out of your riser as you shoot your bow. If you have the cock feather cocked the wrong way, your fletchings may hit your riser as you're shooting your bow, and it may knock your arrow off course. So that's why we always just make sure we have that in the right position.
Perfect. Well, we'll have a little bit more coming up from here at Wildside, and we'll get firing here. So that'll be coming up in a little bit. But first, let's head back in the studio where Michaela has a look at your weather.
All right, thanks very much, Brad. Take a look at this weather photo sent to us by Jason Whiting of Vidir Images. A very gorgeous frosted crystal ball. Very, very beautiful indeed. Thank you for that, Jason. If you want to send us some weather photos showcasing our border city, make sure you send them to tvnews@newcap.ca or send them to us on Facebook. We'll be happy to showcase them. Take a look at your weather once again. Take a look at some current temperatures. -10 for us here in Lloydminster, -9 in Wainwright, Vermilion, Provost, and Vegreville, -11 across the board out in Edmonton, Cold Lake, Bonnyville, and out in Pierceland. As we head over to the Saskatchewan side, -10 in Maidstone, -12 in North Battleford, -10 out in Meadow Lake and St. Walburg as well. Take a look at some other temperatures around the area. -12 in La Loche, -12 in Buffalo Narrows, -14 in La Ronge, -15 in Flin Flon. Very a little bit colder in Wollaston Lake, and -20 in South End at -22. As we head over to Alberta, -14 in Slave Lake, -16 in Fort McMurray, -15 in Peace River, -13 out in Grand Prairie. As we head down south, -6 in Lethbridge, -7 in Banff and in Medicine Hat. They're getting a little bit much more warmer than we are here currently right now. -7 in Coronation. Heading into the Saskatchewan side, -10 in Swift Current, -12 out in Kindersley, -13 in Moose Jaw. A little bit colder out further down on that highway in Regina, sitting at -18 and -21 out in Yorkton. As we take a look at some temperatures for tomorrow, -14 for us here in the border city, -15 out in North Battleford, as well as Maidstone and St. Walburg, -13 out in Meadow Lake, -12 in Green Lake and Isle La Crosse. Over on the Alberta side, -11 in Edmonton, -13 Vegreville, -14 St. Paul, -13 in Bonnyville, -12 Cold Lake, and -13, in Provost. As we take a look at the snow accumulation map, as I did mention, we are expecting about 50% chance we'll get some flurries on Saturday, but shouldn't be anything more, than 2 centimeters, as we are expecting a little bit of light flurries on into Saturday. But again, a 50% chance that could change over the next couple days. Take the snow accumulation map, as you can kind of see, it kind of reaches that 2 to 4 centimeters, but again, it's hard to tell. We'll know a little bit later on in the week as it gets closer to the day there. Take a look at our next 7 days. -14, tomorrow, as mentioned earlier. -11 on Friday with mostly cloudy skies, with a high of -11. -13 on Saturday, again, 50% chance of some flurries there. -22, on Sunday with the high of -22 and a low of -28. -21 on Monday with the daytime high there, -30 as the low. -16 on Tuesday, the low of -29, -12 on Wednesday, and all those 4 things have in common is that we are going to get back to being pretty cold, but probably not to the extreme cold warning that we've had over the last couple of weeks. But we'll have more primetime local news and more coming up after the break.
We are back here at Wildside, and things are about to get going, so I'll let you, Damon, be the range master.
Awesome. We'll get things rolling here. Archers of the line. At this point, all the archers step up to the line, they prepare to shoot, and they wait until the final command, clear to shoot. At this point, archers can commence shooting.
We'll see just how much, Everett, you mentioned this is 10 feet?
Yes, so this distance here is 18 meters, and this is a standard distance if you're doing any type of competition. So if you're shooting paper, as far as provincials go or any other kind of competition, this is your standard distance you'll be shooting at.
All right, well, now I'm terrified. Awesome. I mentioned before I worked at a summer camp, so I did have a little bit of a background of archery, but now seeing just how far these can actually shoot.
For sure. Yeah, no, the new compounds, they definitely have the range and accuracy to get out there in distance. For sure.
And I am legally blind, so I'm not sure if I'm getting anything here.
All good. It's all about the experience.
Perfect. Yeah, and then just when they wrap up here, we'll step up and we'll give it a try as well.
For sure, yeah. I'll run you through a couple pointers and get you flinging a few arrows for sure.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Wicked. All right, so
sounds good. So we'll grab you this recurve here.
Cool.
This is a right-handed bow, so I'll let you hold on to that.
Perfect.
And we'll get you a couple arrows here as well. Golden.
So right-handed, so like this.
Yep, exactly.
Perfect.
So when you first get shooting, we always want to stand about shoulder width apart, right on this yellow line here.
Yep.
So I'll let you do that. Take your arrow. You always want to go right on the rest there, for sure. We knock it right below this knock point there, for sure.
Below this?
Yep, right below the knock point. You got it. And then you already got it right. Cock feather out to the side on a recurve bow.
Right.
1 finger above, and then usually we go 3 below on the string. Yeah, you got it.
Cool.
Then just pull it back to your chin. Golden. Let her fly when you're ready. There you go.
Right. Good.
You're on target. That's better than most.
All right, so obviously I need to smarten
just
up a little
wean
bit.
her over a little bit, and you got her.
Perfect. Below that knock.
Yeah, looking good. There you go. That was a big improvement already.
Thank you. So we'll try one more. I feel like we should put a little bit of a wager on it. What do you think?
All right, yeah, I'm down.
So where do you think I should go?
Let's go top target with the 3-face on it. Hit anywhere on that 3-face paper.
Ooh, okay. All right.
In the roof.
So close. We'll have a little bit more coming up from here at Wildside, but first let's head back into the studio where Michaela and Elise will be talking about your question of the day.
right, so we took to Facebook today to ask you, do you set limits for screen time? 66% of you said no, while 34% said yes. For myself, I know I do maybe 2.5 hours average a day.
Yeah, there's a way you can check on your phone, right?
Yeah, for the new iPhones, they do have that new app that you can actually check your time that you spend, not whether it's on apps or certain social media platforms as well. It's a good way to monitor, because especially for those that want to tone it down a little bit.
Oh, for sure. And I think there is an app out there that even allows you to kind of, it shuts off your app if you're on it. You can kind of like turn it off, or it'll tell you that you've been on it for your set time limit. So there's ways to kind of make sure that you're not sitting on your phone for too long.
I know that this is something that my parents probably would have enjoyed way back when I was maybe in 7th grade.
Yeah,
or so.
exactly.
But right now there's no limit, because there's time to take a look at our pets of the day.
Perfect.
This is Luke,
Luke
submitted
is so
there
cute.
by Melissa there. Thank you for that. Up next is Jakey, submitted there by Jenny. Very, very cute. Little derpy there, got the tongue out. This is Pinky.
He got into something a little bit, yeah.
Yes, he did. This is submitted there by Morgan. Next we have Bandit, all spread out and adorable, submitted by Janet. And last but not least, this is Jet, submitted
Jet's very
by
sweet.
Corinne. Thank you very much to everybody who sent in those photos. If your pet was shown here today, you're automatically entered to win a Pet Pad gift card, which are given away at the end of the week on Primetime Local News.
We want to see your pet. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
It's Black History Month, and my special guest is involved in an activity that's happening at Southridge Church on Friday evening, all to do with Black History Month. Charles Belenga, thank you very much for joining us at Primetime Local News. And how's it going as folks get ready for Friday evening?
Thank you very much, Gerard.
Welcome.
It's going very well. Yeah, we are very excited to host the first Black Friday month celebration in Lloydminster.
Yeah, Black History Month happening. There are a number of people who have contributed in our community, but what will be the nature of your celebration?
It's really to celebrate black people in what they have done in Canada, and even here in Lloydminster, what they have done here. People don't realize, for example, that in Lloydminster here, we have more than 50% of the medical staff, doctors, who are blacks.
At the hospital, the local hospital?
At the hospital, and they have their own clinics too.
And some of them involved in administration at the hospital,
yes. I think. Same at Lakeland College.
Yes, at Lakeland as well.
Same in the oil and gas industry.
Yeah, that's pretty key, the oil and gas sector. And of course, Lloydminster is a heavy oil town.
Yes, so there's a lot to celebrate with the black community here. And the black celebration has been going on in Canada for many years. In many cities, they've been doing it many, many times. So this is an opportunity for us in Lloydminster to celebrate
Indeed.
The Black History Month with a black community. And again, it's not about just blacks. It's the community coming together and celebrating one of us, which is the black community.
Right. So it's open to the community at Southridge Church. It's Friday evening at 6:30. You were telling me the mayor is going to be there.
The mayor is going to be there. Yeah, the mayor has been very supportive of what we are doing. We are doing many things, and so he'll be there, and he'll be giving greetings and a short speech. And there will be other people who will be speaking and telling the story about black history and their involvement in the community and also in Canada.
Yeah, so we're going to hear lots of stories. Will there be like a few displays as well?
Yes, there will be a few displays. There will be a little bit of PowerPoint and just telling some of the stories of all the achievement that black people have done in this country. Sometimes people don't really realize.
Yeah.
I mean, in this country, we've had the head of state, the governor general, who's a black person, Michael Jean.
Right.
We've had, right now, we have the Minister of Immigration, federally, who is black. And there's so many black achievements that they need to be shared we need to celebrate that, just like we want to celebrate anybody else who is doing something good.
Yes, any other contribution.
Yes.
And I think as well the personal stories, because my own background is originally from the Caribbean, yours of course being from what part of the
from
African?
Congo.
From the Congo,
Yeah,
Democratic
Central Africa.
Republic. And of course you speak French there.
Yes, yes, I'm fluent in French.
Apart from the local languages.
Yes, so I speak about 6 languages.
You speak 6 languages.
Yeah.
So what would be one of the local languages then?
Swahili.
Swahili.
Swahili is quite a big language in Africa. It's spoken in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Congo, in Burundi, in Rwanda, in Uganda. So in many places.
Yes, it's got quite the repertoire, as it were. Well, Charles Belenga, who is heading up the event on Friday evening at Southridge Church in celebration of Black History Month here in Lloydminster, you'll get to visit with folks, and certainly you can be a part of that. 6:30 Friday evening, you can certainly be a part of that. Do stay with us on Primetime Local News.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Well, February marks Heart Month across Canada. So joining me today is Kristen Travers, a heart advocate, stroke advocate, and a stroke survivor herself. So I want to thank you so much for joining us and having this conversation with us today.
Oh, anytime.
I want to start off with your story because you had a stroke at a very young age, and you were a very healthy, active person. So you're not really, I guess, the face of a stroke because there isn't one. So
Right.
I want to talk about your experience with your stroke a couple of years ago.
Right. So I was, like you said, a very active person. I was training to run a half marathon. So not your typical stroke survivor. So I was 31, and then all of a sudden I had this, cryptogenic stroke, which means there is no real cause.
Yeah, and so from your stroke, you actually suffered a few complications post-stroke. So can you talk a little bit about that and kind of your recovery process?
Right. So I was diagnosed with severe aphasia and apraxia. So I didn't have any physical mobility issues, nothing like that. So it got misdiagnosed as a migraine at first because I just had speech impairments. So for the first 3 days, I was completely mute. So I could not speak, I could not write, I could not read. All of that kind of stuff was taken away from me. So it was a long process for recovery, for sure.
Yeah. And now that you are recovered, why is it so important to you to be an advocate for stroke health and just heart health overall?
Well, I think strokes definitely don't discriminate. You can have a stroke no matter what your age, or a heart attack no matter what your age, and it's a long process to recover. So if you can mitigate that risk, definitely we want to help that, and I want to give people help, or I want to give people hope. If you have a stroke, there is hope for recovery. There's services that we can offer, and we definitely want to help.
I want to talk about women and heart health, just because not so much per se at more of a risk, but they're under research. So what are some signs women, and I guess anyone, really should be looking for when it comes to heart and stroke health?
Right, so women are definitely under-researched. We're definitely, usually research studies in the past, historically, have been done on white men. So culturally, there's not a lot of research done on ethnicities. There's not a lot of research done on women. So our vessels are smaller than men. We have the same anatomy, but our vessels are smaller. Our hormones are smaller. So our symptoms are definitely different. So we don't necessarily, like our women. Women that are getting affected by heart disease don't necessarily have the same symptoms as men. So usually you see in movies that people are clutching their chest and falling dead. That doesn't necessarily happen. So women can have sweating episodes, episodes of nausea, vomiting, like upper chest discomfort. People always say that an elephant is sitting on their chest. That kind of stuff too. If you have those experiences, jaw pain, shoulder pain. If you have that, you definitely call 911. With strokes too, we teach the FAST acronym. So face, if one side is drooping, arms, if you can't lift one arm, usually it's one side of the body. Speech, if you can't say anything, if your speech is garbled. For me, it was like I couldn't talk at all. And then time, we need to call 911.
Yeah, definitely. Well, want to thank you so much for sharing that with us. If anyone is looking for, just some simple facts relating for heart and stroke health, where can they go?
Well, we definitely wanted everyone to know their risks, so we want to tell them to go to heartandstroke.ca. You can find your risk factors. All the signs and symptoms are there as well.
All right, yeah, and because it doesn't discriminate, everyone and almost everyone is at risk of this. So I want to thank you so much for having this conversation with us, Kristen Travers.
We are here at Wildside Outdoors, where today I tried my hand at archery. We spoke to Damon on just making sure we are staying safe if it is your first time or one of your first times doing archery, and making sure you are going through the right steps. If you are a first-time archer, if you are wanting to get into archery, they do have people on site who can teach you how to shoot arrows and making sure that you are staying safe. And they do have this shooting range here if you are wanting to come down and just practice. That'll do it for me here tonight at Wildside Outdoors. Tomorrow I will be at the Route, where the downtown area redevelopment plan is going on, so we'll be talking to some of the people down there. That'll do it for me here tonight. Let's head back into the studio where Michaela and Elise will wrap up tonight's show.
All right, thanks very much, Brett. I mean,
it's pretty cool, that kind of stuff.
It is. He did miss a few shots, it looked like, though.
Yeah, but he is very blind, so
yeah, that is very
the fact
true.
that he didn't hit walls or anything else was really good. So,
exactly.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great rest of your night.
Have a good night.